The main selling point for this guy is that it is a smart monitor, which gives you access to a bunch of tech normally found in smart TVs. But it's a monitor. Or is it a TV? What makes a monitor and a TV a TV? This product has me questioning my entire life. Usually with these types of devices, in order to get access to everything, you compromise a lot, which was the case with the Samsung M7. Thankfully, this trend did not continue with the M8, as it does almost everything above average with very few compromises. With one of those being it hates the environment, as it isn't EPEAT qualified or Energy Star certified. The horror. It also comes with a 140 watt 20 volt power supply to destroy your energy bill. So if you want to see the world burn, this is your guy. Starting off with the monitor itself, it comes in 3 colors: white, green, pink, and blue, which is not 3 colors, that's 4 colors. So obviously we're off to a great start. It is 32 inches, very slim, attractive, has 0.5 inch bezels with a minimalistic stand that is sturdy and flat, allowing you to place things on top like this plant or my dog. This stand has minimal adjustments, which include 4.5 inches of height and between -2% and 15% tilt, but nothing side to side, because real OGs just turned the entire stand for that. To my dismay, it does not support VESA mounting. It has 3 ports on the back, which are difficult to reach as they are directly in front of the stand. You might be thinking to yourself, this is poor engineering. But what if I told you this was done on purpose for cable management? That way, the cords can go directly in the port and then through the stand to be invisible. Big brain moves or not? Let me know in the comment section down below. The ports include one micro 2.0 HDMI with HDCP 2.2. No, you aren't having a stroke, and you definitely heard me correctly. Micro HDMI is a bold choice indeed. One USB-C 3.1 Gen 2 port with 65 watt charging capability, and one USB-C 3.0 hub. I use that term sparingly as it is only a single port and requires you to buy an external hub to plug it in. It only provides 15 watts of power, and which limits what it can and can't power. Overall, it leaves me disappointed, so it's a good thing that I never use it. It does not come with normal HDMI or DisplayPort because those ports are things of the past, relics of an old time. But seriously, I believe the target demographic they were going for were laptop users over desktop, so that makes sense, I guess. Personally, I received the right monitor, but it comes with gray cords, making a modern, sleek device look retro from the 90s. Not really sure how I feel about this. It also makes me curious if the colored variants come with colored cables or gray cables. Regardless, the cables are flexible and feel high quality, but aren't very long, meaning your device is going to have to snuggle close by. It comes with a 1080p 30 frames per second with 85-degree viewing angle, slim fit camera, which magnetically attaches to the back of the monitor via a 4-pin USB-C adapter, and comes with its own privacy screen. The magnet is strong, making it very easy to attach without looking. Good party trick, I know, while also giving you choices. Doing something you don't want the world to see? Just put on the privacy screen. Feel like somebody has X-ray vision and can see through that privacy screen? Just remove the device entirely. Don't believe the government is spying on you? Just put the privacy screen on the back of the camera for safekeeping. The device itself feels high quality and is very slim. It supports tilt adjustment, but not side to side, because as we previously mentioned, that's only for losers. You can adjust the camera without a PC via Google Duo or Tizen OS, or if you have a laptop plugged in, it will automatically be seen as a webcam. Overall, picture quality is solid and superior to anything I've seen on a regular laptop, being closest to a mid-grade webcam. Consider me a fan. Buckle up, because we're about to get real nerdy. The screen itself is a 4K Ultra HD 3840 by 2160 VA panel with 3000:1 contrast ratio at 60 Hz with a 4 millisecond response time and 99% of the sRGB range, along with HDR10 plus support with up to 1 billion colors with average brightness of 400 candela M squared. I'm pretty sure I said that last thing wrong. It comes with an anti-glare matte screen coating that is flicker-free with low blue light and also supports 21:9 aspect ratio for gaming. If those two sentences made no sense to you, feel free to check out my 4K TV Tech Explain video linked in the description down below. Basically, this is an upper-end productivity/media monitor that is capable of gaming but shouldn't be bought for that. SDR content looked good and scored very well on Lagom LCD and other similar tests, as I was able to see all shades for contrast, black level, and white saturation, along with no gradient banding. I was only able to get 8-bit color to work, not 10-bit, which was a bit disappointing. But since I don't have any official equipment, I can't provide any objective measures. It also doesn't come with a pre-calibrated print-off page that I could refer to. I mostly use movie mode, or there's something that's similar to sRGB mode that I also used, as both of those tend to be the most accurate. I did notice some blurring of text at certain levels of zoom, mostly with my Dell Ultrabook. I didn't notice this as much on the Dell gaming laptop, Asus Chromebook, Apple MacBook Air, or wired gaming PC that I also tried. Viewing angles are reported to be 178 degrees. For a VA panel, which usually don't handle viewing angles well at all, they are solid. Found whether I was attached to a computer, screen mirroring, or through an onboard built-in apps that images were sharp and focused and colors were accurate and punchy, along with good contrast ratio and satisfying-ish blacks. I had no issues with brightness even in a bright room. In the end, I was very, very satisfied. It also comes with something called adaptive picture, which automatically adjusts the brightness based on the room light. It worked just fine, but I always leave the setting off and off for manual adjustment instead, as that can really dramatically change the picture quality. They don't mention the max brightness anywhere, just that the average brightness is 400 nits, meaning I'm labeling this as a Fox HDR screen, as to me, if it doesn't have full array backlighting with local dimming zones with a brightness of 800 to 1000 nits, it's not actual HDR because I'm a snob. But I did find that when I had an HDR enabled for gaming and movies/TV, it added an extra punch to colors, making them more vibrant while also increasing overall contrast, to the point I definitely turned this on every time I could over just leaving it off, meaning it gets my stamp for approval for HDR. It does have a dedicated game mode, which improves latency to 4 milliseconds, which is impressive, as I tend to be sensitive to this type of stuff and didn't notice any issues when fighting bosses with parries or dodges in Elden Ring or driving through the city in Grand Theft Auto 5, but did feel the 60Hz not being as smooth or responsive as higher refresh monitors. I recommend at least 120Hz, ideally 144Hz, or for you tryhards 240 or 360Hz for gaming. Screen tearing was minimal, despite not supporting AMD FreeSync or NVIDIA G-Sync, which was kind of surprising to me, as I thought everything these days came with FreeSync. Meaning, while I'd handled gaming perfectly well from a latency and HDR standpoint, 60Hz is going to hold you back along with trying to push that 4K resolution. And with modern consoles supporting 120Hz, think you're leaving some performance on the table regardless of the platform you choose. But again, this is easily an acceptable gaming monitor, just not ideal. Comes with the 2.2 channel built-in speakers, which leads to an acceptable but not great listening experience. It does not come with the 3.5mm aux port. They get plenty loud. Seriously, I listen at like 15 or 25 out of 100. So if you hate your neighbor or your roommates, you can seriously crank it. I found that overall tuning is focused to prioritize vocals over immersion, making mids sound good, but bass is extremely anemic. I dare say missing altogether. And highs come across as sharp and piercing, which is fine because I don't like my hearing anyways, making for a poor experience when listening to music or trying to get completely lost in a movie or game. But found that casually watching media was satisfying, as I could easily hear what people were saying without any issues. It does support HDMI CEC with ARC along with Bluetooth 4.2, making it so you can either plug in a soundbar or connect to a Bluetooth speaker or similar. I personally use the Sony SRS XP43, link to that review is in the description below, which worked great. The coolest thing about that was it auto-connects when I turn on the Bluetooth speaker and automatically begins playing things, whether it is on an onboard app or through the connected laptop, meaning you don't have to pair the speaker to your device as it is already paired to the monitor, and therefore anything that is connected to the monitor then plays through it. Last, it comes with something called Adaptive Sound Plus, which automatically increases or decreases the volume based on how loud the room is on average, meaning if a pack of wolves enters your room and you start screaming for your life, the volume will increase automatically, masking your panic. And once they're chewing on your femur, the sound will go back down to normal like nothing ever happened. This works reasonably well, and I left it on, but it doesn't come enabled by default. It comes with the remote, which is a new experience for most people when it comes to a monitor, and that's why I'm saying, what makes a monitor and a TV a TV? Anyways, this monitor fits very comfortably in the hand, and I like it a lot. It's made from plastic, is quite slim and rounded on the bottom. Going left to right, top to bottom, it has power on/off, microphone, directional pad, back, home, play, pause, volume up/down with a middle press, channel up, down, and middle press, along with hot buttons for Samsung TV Plus, Netflix, Prime Video, and Disney Plus. Comes with a rechargeable battery, which is awesome, and I'm definitely a fan, which is USB-C. Moving on to the smart features, and there's a lot, so this is what makes this review so freakishly long. Setup is extremely easy and works like a charm. When you go into a program, it will present you a QR code that you scan with your phone, which immediately takes you to a sign-in page, and bam, you're in. I love it. It comes installed with Samsung/Tizen operating system. We are getting close to the point where processors across the board give a satisfying experience, but we aren't quite there yet, as I felt at times it was quite snappy, but other times it would lag, and other times become completely non-responsive, to the point I'd have to power cycle the entire thing. It is perfectly usable, but depending on how spoiled you are on other CPUs, it can cause some frustration and hair pulling. Overall layout isn't bad, as for the most part it is intuitive and simple to operate, but getting anything seems like a chore because it seems like I'm always starting in the wrong menu, especially since there is no easy access to normal things found on a monitor, such as switching sources or adjusting settings, because despite having Auto Switch Plus, which is supposed to automatically switch to a correct device, it doesn't work all the time, and sometimes I want a different device. So I found myself going out of something only to go through several menus to get to what I wanted, only to have to go back through more menus to get back to my original source, making this the biggest complaint I have with this guy. The Samsung App Store offers most of your main offerings, such as Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Hulu, etc., but isn't as inclusive as Android or Apple. When I stream directly from one of their apps, including the free Samsung TV app, it would start at a low quality picture and then become very sharp over a short period of time. I have no issues with buffering even when rewinding or fast forwarding, so it does its job well. Comes stock with Bixby or Amazon Alexa, but also allegedly supports Google Assistant, but I'm pretty sure they have excommunicated him as he's missing in action. It supports far field voice, which means I can say the wake word or press the microphone on the remote itself to activate. If you know the correct terms, you can even navigate strictly from this, which is pretty neat. I found results for search were fast and would show which apps had said content. It has Samsung DeX and AirPlay. I used AirPlay, which worked every time as well. There was noticeable latency when expanding my display or typing a Word document, but it's doable in a pinch. But I'd recommend if you're doing a lot of navigation or writing to hardwire that sucker in. It supports SmartThings and IoT home products, which means you can use this guy as a hub to control your smart home. Turning on and off lights was nearly instant, so it seems like it works pretty well. It has picture-in-picture, which works extremely well. It has a bunch of different options, such as side-to-side, having one bigger than the other, or going full screen. You can adjust this so it automatically comes up or not. Last, it comes with Wi-Fi 5 802.11 AC over Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 4.2 over 5.2. which are both dated and still perfectly usable, meaning you can connect a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse to browse the web or edit documents with Microsoft 365. Found performance of this processor struggled a lot with this type of stuff, so unless if you enjoy torturing yourself or use a shared computer or similar, I would skip it altogether, despite it being a really, really cool feature. The best part of this monitor is the on/off animation, as it's sick. I'm not going to show it, and I'm going to leave it as a pleasant surprise for you when you open this guy up, but I think you already know my recommendation. This thing's awesome, and I totally recommend it, especially for a kid, college student, or adult who wants a single device to do it all and is vastly superior to the Samsung M7. Like, dislike, share, and subscribe if you please. Otherwise, I will see you, GBL Face, on the next one. God bless, and peace out.